Well, thank you to all of you who subscribe to Fortune and Freedom. I hope you're enjoying the daily newsletter that you get. And a lot of you do send back emails, do send questions. I've just taken a few here, which are representative of the questions lots of other people are asking. For example, Barbara says, how will inflation affect property prices? Barbara, it already has. We've had house price inflation. It's been going nuts, partly because the government kind of pushed it that way with tax breaks. But there's a demand-supply issue here, isn't there? I mean, the British population is rising by about 500,000 people a year, and we're lucky in a very good year to build 200,000 new dwellings. So work it out, that the bottom end of the market, the buy-to-let market, is very much propped up. However, I think what's happened here is that property inflation has gone ahead of general inflation, and now that general inflation is kicking in, and if you believe like me that inflation is a disease of money, then it can be quite difficult to get rid of and can take much longer than anyone thinks. And so the effect of inflation now and the effect of rising interest rates, believe me, rates are going up in the next few weeks. They're going to go up again in the first quarter of next year. We've had over a decade, of mortgages, interest rate repayments being literally on the floor. That is about to change, and I think we're going to see quite a big slowing in the rise in properties in this country. We may even see some dips in some areas. John says to me, well, he says, we keep being told that current rising prices is transitory. How long is transitory, and when does it become persistent? Well, look, central banks have all got this completely wrong. All of them. The European Central Bank, the Fed, the Bank of England, they all said inflation would be transitory. Well, just last week, the Fed was beginning to accept, actually, it isn't transitory, it is persistent, it is here to stay. They've all underestimated it. Very interesting, looking at the American figures. So the official American inflation rate is about 5.3%. But if it had the same basket of goods as it had back in 1980 for the CPI, it will be about 12.5%, all right? And I think it's very similar here in this country. The reality is, whatever central banks, whatever governments tell you the official inflation rate is, the cost of living is going up very, very much more than that, be it energy bills and all the rest of it. So we're heading into a period of tightening, and people are going to have much less money to spend. And I think the first few months of next year, right across the Western world, are going to be difficult. And I suspect that inflation being back in the system is going to take longer to get rid of than anyone realizes. And the standard means of doing it is to whack up interest rates. Interest rates are going up, but they're not going to go up enough, in my view, to dampen down inflation. There's just a couple of the hundreds that you send in, and I will, as we see, lots of questions on certain subject areas, come back to you in the weeks to come with more of my answers.